Welcome back to the Janus Project, and we are now on Chapter 8, and Chapter 8 is basically all about sex, and this is actually the chapter that I wonder if Bill Nye could go back and redo it if he'd drop this chapter out. To summarize, it is all about sexual selection, why things have sex, and all that. To summarize even more, it is basically that when you have sexual reproduction, it allows a lot of the variety to come in. But he talks about why are there only two sexes and not a whole ton, and well, he has changed his mind on some of that apparently. And so one of the points that I'll just draw attention to is he says this: there are celebrated passages in the Bible about the lilies of the field. The authors of the book of Matthew. I don't know if he understands this, but the authors of the book of Matthew remark that these beautiful flowers neither toil nor do they spin yarn to be made into clothes. It's a passage encouraging the disciples of Jesus not to worry about earthly things, specifically what they'll be wearing when they're out proselytizing. Okay, I don't blame an evolutionist for not understanding the Bible, but basically God's telling them not to worry about what they need. Okay, so go out there and do your job, but don't worry about what you need, because again, I take care of nature, and if I can take care of nature and all of these things, and they're more gloriously apparelled, so to speak, than Solomon was, I'm pretty sure I can take care of you. So yes, he kind of touches on it, but kind of misses it in the same breath. And again, there was one author to Matthew, but whatever. He says, lovely as that passage may be, the Bible missed an important point here about nature and evolution, specifically about sexual selection. In fact, lilies, like every other sexual organism on the planet, work pretty hard to produce a means to mate. Again, that's not what the passage was even implying or trying to get at. And so it's really fun. It would be like me as a teacher saying, hey guys, I don't want you to talk in class. And you'd be like, well, you didn't say anything about talking in the hallway. Well, I wasn't talking about the hallway. Yeah, but you didn't say anything about talking in the bathroom. I was talking about the classroom, so it had nothing to do with that. And so it's like, so Jesus is talking to his disciples and he's saying, hey, don't worry about what you're going to wear. I'll take care of you. And well, you didn't talk about sex. You're right, I didn't. And so anyway, that's all this chapter is about. Going on the amount of work plants do to reproduce. But again, the point is, God is providing the means, he's providing the resources, he's providing the protection. And again, he does it through natural means most of the time, because miracles basically are God adding some stuff in. He's not suspending the laws of nature. So typically God is just allowing the laws of nature to run their course. Every now and then he steps in, but normally he's not. He's just letting nature do its thing. And again, he just goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And he says this, although most of us earthlings presume to deal with two sexes, in the world of fungi, things are somewhat different. They interact two at a time, all right, but they have what are called mating types. They can be sexually compatible with other individuals. Many other mating types of their species are, in a sexual sense, quite different. In this sense, an organism like a split-gill fungus can have 28,000 different sexes, i.e. 28,000 mating types. For us two-sex creatures, it's fascinating. And so again, this is just a few years ago, he writes a book saying there are two sexes, but now he's kind of fallen on the, well, there's a gender spectrum train. So again, that's just how it is. Goes on, and again, nature ended up with deoxyribonucleic acid, DNA, so binary splitting is favored or inherent in the process, because that's what DNA does. With that, binary combination is as well. And so, again, he goes on all there. And again, speaking of two teams, books have been written, operas composed, game shows created, and countless news stories produced that deal with the battle of the sexes. The men and women have such difficulty getting along sometimes, or perhaps most of the time is a mystery, if it weren't for evolution. No. The reason we as humans can't get along is because God designed us to complement each other. And so the idea of you complete me is there are things that I am good at as a male because my male brain works a certain way. And there are things that the female brain works to fix in my male brain, and I work to fix in the female brain. And that's why male and female work so well together, because we have a different way of thinking and a different way of approaching. And that's why two parents are so important, because they help complement each other and they help be there for each other. And so that's why male and female, and that's why God made them that way. And so again, he keeps saying things like that, like it wouldn't make any sense if it weren't for evolution. What about the creation account is so hard to understand? What about the way creation explains it is so contrary to what we see? It's not. It's just not at all. Again, he says, look around you. So much of what goes on in our society is motivated by the process of sexual selection. And there are many subtle and not so subtle things that affect the process. There's mascara, expensive watches, amazing shoes. Again, Jordan Peterson got in trouble because he had an article, an interview with a guy where he was talking about the idea that girls putting on makeup was a sexual thing. And the guy's like, oh, what are you saying? And he's like, why else do you put it on? Well, here's Bill Nye saying the same thing. So again, you think about most of what we do, even high heel shoes, you know, the short skirts, the mascara, the hairdos, all of that. They are to be attractive. And why do you try to be attractive? Just think about it. Okay. And again, one of the leading theories is that it's an artifact. It's a result of being good enough in the process of evolution. So that's what the sexual overdrive he's talking about. He says the battle of the sexes is so strong that perhaps because all of us ended up with big brains compared to other animals, and my old boss, these brains make us aware of our place in the scheme of things, and that somehow leads us to doubt and altruism and loyalty and the ability to so easily do the wrong thing, to keep us from not getting around to mating. Our sexual selective processes are turned on 24/7. Okay, whatever. Wherever it comes from, it works. This is to say, although we are continually stymied by broken hearts, loyalty, disloyalty, professional concerns, familial criticism, and other distractions, the human species reproduces at a prodigious rate. In 10,000 years, the number of people on Earth has exploded from a few million to over 7 billion. Apparently, sexual selection left us with our need to engage turned up to 11. So there you go. That's why we have sex. Sex is something created by God. It's something beautiful. It's something we're meant to do, but within the confines of marriage. And our culture has so thoroughly corrupted it that's why we're in the trouble we are today. Again, it has nothing to do with evolution. I look at all this and I say, you keep throwing out the idea that, well, it's just evolution. It's like, no, but it's not. So there it is. And that is chapter number 8. Again, we're reviewing Bill Nye's book, Undeniable. This is the Janus Project. We are continuing Creation Week. And hopefully you guys have been enjoying this content. If you have, I'm going to ask you to please like this video, subscribe below, ring that little bell icon, and share it with a friend. I'd love to get this information out. And thank you for joining me on the Janus Project.